Hey guys, GHAZZY TV here with the, reaction to the just released a message to Path of Exile 1 players. I'll leave a link in the description to this video. Basically, we've been begging for information regarding what is currently happening with Path of Exile 1. Now, the league's been going on for about 600 years, give or take. A little exaggeration, I guess. But we've been waiting for some information. We're going to watch this announcement and let's talk about it.
Let's talk about PoE 1. Now, when we announced PoE 2, we promised that we would continue to create PoE 1 expansions, and we do intend to keep that promise, but it's certainly been a lot harder to deliver on it than what we expected. Now, the trouble really started after Settlers of Calgar in July last year. The ideal time to have released 326 would have been late October, before the originally scheduled release of PoE 2's early access, but we just didn't think we could do it. It was too close to the huge circus that was the organisation around PoE 2's launch. But we also didn't want to immediately launch it right after PoE 2 either, so that kind of ruled out December. So then we're thinking, okay, we can't really have a launch in January due to Christmas, so we're really going to have to do it in February. And this wasn't great. It would mean 7 months with no leagues. But we really didn't think it was possible to do it any earlier than that. And we didn't really announce this exactly, but it was certainly something that we had said to quite a few people over time, so the community became generally aware that that was our plan. The issue is this. PoE 2's endgame needed a lot of work. Having the guys on the PoE 1 team help out for 3 months on PoE 2, given that 326 was 7 months away, seemed like a no-brainer, and man did PoE 2 need it. The problem is we got to the middle of October, and PoE 2's launch was imminent, and I'll tell you what, taking people off PoE 2 at that point was just impossible. The endgame was not in a shippable state. But you know what? We could still do it. If the PoE 1 team just kept helping until PoE 2 shipped in late November, we could still do it. Maybe the scope would need to decrease a little bit, but mid-February was still possible. We just needed to ship this damn game first, get it out of the way. We literally couldn't think about anything else until it was done, but we still had time. The problem is, we were fooling ourselves. PoE 2 was delayed 3 weeks, making the problem even worse. And then after the game was released, well, of course we had to immediately deal with all the problems. How could we think about making a PoE 1 expansion when we still have hundreds of thousands of people who are having bad experiences in PoE 2? There are crashes, there are severe in-game balance problems. How could I justify taking some of the most experienced developers we have off PoE 2 when it's on fire? Now, after the Christmas break, we had to really admit something to ourselves. The most urgent priority was getting PoE 2 to a point where it didn't have major issues. And it's hard to even think about what PoE 1 needs when PoE 2 has really obvious problems that need fixing. We needed to get it to the point of stability and balance, and to fix the most severe deficiencies that PoE 2 has before we can take our eyes off it. So what does that mean? Well, it means that we can't really work on PoE 1 326 until PoE 2 0.2.0 has shipped. And then being honest, we probably need to support that for a couple of weeks after that as well. Now, in the meantime, we are going to get a bunch of pre-production done on 326 with whatever people who are not needed to fix issues with PoE 2. And once 0.2.0 is sorted, I promise we will devote as many resources as are needed from our company to get 326 done as soon as possible. Unfortunately, I just can't promise a date right now. Now, I'm really sorry for how this went down. Honestly, I should have predicted the fact that taking the PoE 1 team off PoE 1 would lead to this outcome. And I probably should have resisted doing it. But at every stage, I just kept thinking, we still have time, and then we didn't have time anymore. Now, we still have a lot to learn about how to run 2 games simultaneously. We were overconfident. We still need to work out how to structure our studio to make this possible. But we do have a solid plan for what we want to do with 326. Obviously, I can't talk about it yet, but I'm hoping you guys are going to love it. I really want to thank you guys for all your support over the years. You guys do deserve better than this, and we will get 326 out as fast as we can.
There it is, boys. There it is. Essentially, we don't have a date is the biggest issue with this. With having no date, when do we think it's going to be released? I'll leave a comment down below what you guys think. But, I mean, GGG needs, what, 2 to 3 at the very least months to basically develop a PoE 1 league. And in the later years, we've seen this taking a lot longer, even stretching to 4 months, even now 5 months, and now even longer with the release up to PoE 2 as their developers' time has been put to PoE 2 instead. Now, Jonathan did say that they were putting some of the pre-work done on PoE 1 3.26, but I mean, this sounds more like the launch is going to happen in May, I don't know, June, July. I don't know how long this league is actually going to last for in PoE 1. And I know a lot of people that don't like PoE 2 or are basically bored or done with PoE 2 are just waiting for a PoE 1 league to happen. And with this information, it's like this is looking like we're basically expecting somewhere in the summer or early summer as a release for this, which is scary. Honestly, it's quite scary. I do appreciate the level of transparency and communication that GG does with these things, especially Jonathan Mark and also Chris Wilson, of course, over the years. They've always been very transparent and honest in this type of communication. I appreciate it very much, but it is very sad to hear about these delays, and it sucks. It really does. So, yeah, I mean, great, we get the transparency communication, but it would have been better with a PoE 1 league, right? I think we all can agree on that. PoE 2, however, we are currently at a point where gamers that are blasting ARPG veterans are kind of done with everything, or getting to that point, and we're just now waiting for a balance and content patch to get us some more information and more things to do in the early access. Not just the balancing thing, but actually introducing new things to do. And I understand that a lot of the casual players, or even I would even stretch as far to say as the majority of casual players, are at a point where they haven't gotten done with everything as a lot of the ARPG veterans have, streamers and, other people have been blasting the game for an obnoxiously unhealthy amount of hours. What I would have wanted to hear, I guess, would be some information on when we can expect a PoE 2 content / balance release date. So we get to an idea of when that's going to happen. Because as of right now, we're just sitting here waiting. And without a PoE 1 league to keep us entertained, I think the PoE 2 is going to slowly trickle down in terms of the actual interest around the game, which is also something they obviously don't want to do. They want to ride this wave as hard as they can. Now, I say this from a content creator perspective, and I know that's very different compared to how the actual game is doing in terms of its health. You can look at something like Diablo 4, for example, who has an insane amount of players, but on the content creation part of Diablo 4, it's kind of dead. It really is. Very few people are watching on Twitch, a lot more are watching on YouTube, and that's it. It's not that much, whilst their player base is insanely high. However, the player base in Path of Exile 2, last I checked, had over 100,000 players on Steam alone. That does not include Epic, doesn't include their standalone client, it doesn't include console for that matter either, in the PlayStation, Xbox. It's just absolutely crazy how many people are playing the game, which is way more than we'll see in PoE 1. So I think that the news is obviously great that they're doing this transparency, but I am very upset. We're not very upset, but very sad to hear about the PoE 1 leak, because I was very, very excited to hear about 3.26. But leave a comment down below when you think the PoE 1 leak is going to actually be released. And yeah, I don't really have much else to say. I'm kind of bummed out, not gonna lie. But we'll be continuing our Soul Self-Found hardcore journey and adventures in PoE 2 on stream as we wait for more information. So swing by the Twitch stream. I'll see you guys there. Don't forget to like button, subscribe for more content, and we'll see you guys in the next one. Till then, stay safe and keep rocking.